Welcome back to New Earth Studios, where we'll be bringing about the hot topic of self-love, especially what's coming up now, Valentine's. And what we have a display of items here that my beautiful wife and our partner Leanne will share with you today. So we want to discuss and bring about the philosophy. What is self-love? Why is it important to have this philosophy described, so that it's more important than, say, even the products itself, because what it can bring along is anchoring this feeling. And the products are sort of the, what would you say,
Well, they are the tools.
The tools.
They're the
to
tools
unlock the
of
philosophy.
Philosophy. They're the tools in maintaining that relationship that we are inviting, everyone to follow. Like you said, it is about the concept and the way that we have decided to commit our work to this process, to this philosophy, has come about out of experiences, and we didn't know how it was going to, come to fruition. But the idea behind it was that we felt that it's so important to dedicate our thoughts and our rituals and our daily routines to fostering this beautiful relationship that we have between ourselves, right? Yeah. So, we've spoken about this before in our podcasts, the importance of, nurturing that relationship between yourself and yourself, because that's the most relationship you'll ever have. And, we've been through such challenging and difficult situations where we found ourselves almost locked in a corner just because we didn't give ourselves enough credit. We didn't feel deserving enough. We didn't put ourselves first. We didn't account for our feelings and put somebody else's feelings before us. It's a whole paradigm shift, I would say. It's something that is just so prominent in our society right now. And we feel more than anything, with everything we've got to bring to the table, we just want to bring more paradigm shift of the way that we are treating ourselves.
And I think what's so important is, Julia, the way that our relationship started as well, and it's now manifested into this beautiful business called SelfLove, where we have curated products that are intentional, yes, that mean something to us. It wasn't just, it wasn't just that we thought of an idea and, let's put it. A lot of love, a lot of work, a lot of thought went into each and every product that we now can proudly say, is a self-love product.
Yes.
And it was through our personal journeys that we, wanted to share the tools that kind of led into a ritualistic based how can I say, product offering or a mythology that we do. So every product that we've got kind of works very well together in terms of the crystals, the guashas, the bamboo,
the yoga mats.
There's quite a few products. Well, we're looking to, obviously, being a baby company, there's the start of what we have right here, which is pretty incredible. And in fact, we're wearing some of our items as well. We really are advertising as much as we possibly can.
As much as we can.
It's more awareness rather than advertising, because we don't have this particular kind of thought of that we need to sell the products for the sake of selling products.
Exactly. It's not profit over people.
It's bigger than that. We want to be so useful in what we are offering to you that you establish that relationship with all the possible means, right? So you almost treat yourself as the altar, your body as the temple, and all of these tools as the magical tools that remind you of that commitment that you make to yourself. And so we're going to go through the products and the intentions behind the products. We will fill you in on how to use them and keep that commitment going. And just encourage you to follow the movement, join the movement. That's the most important thing. If there is anything that you will take away from this conversation that we have today, and if it's just, pay attention to yourself and nurture the relationship with yourself and come back to self-love, then, it's reached its objective. And the products and everything they've got to offer, they're just secondary.
Before we go into the products, this is more of the philosophy and understanding where the story came about. So Where does self-love come from?
Well, as I mentioned before, just the experiences that we have, and maybe where we have aligned is the experiences as women. We found ourselves, like I said before, in the situations where it was so embedded in us to have to put ourselves last. So many feelings of, confusion, doubt, guilt, not deservingness. All of that has led us to kind of experience realities that are less than loving towards ourselves. And, there's nobody else to blame. There's nobody to point fingers to. It's just what we've been conditioned to do and what we have accepted as our reality. So, experiences like being in, abusive relationships, for example, being in illusions, feeding ourselves illusions of, a certain way things are when they're not. So it basically comes back to not being honest with ourselves, right? Or making decisions that are out of fear rather than out of love, not feeling deserving to have the best outcome. But so all of that, I think a lot of people, a lot of women can relate to that because of the state that of the world that we live in. We can say that it is something that is definitely applicable to a lot of people. So it's a growth process. It's a personal development process. It's an evolution of a spirit, and being able to conceptualize it like we do is a real honor, because then we're just serving the purpose while we are here, right?
And I think, Julia, the way that we connected was that conversation. And we realized that we have so much in common and our stories were so similar. And for me, it was, what am I doing to make myself feel good? And why am I feeling guilty for it? Why am I feeling guilty for taking the time, me time, Leanne time, sitting down and, for example, something silly like doing my nails? I feel like I was taking away from the time I should either be with my husband or with my kids or in business or whatever. But that was the time that I give back to myself. Or in the morning when I'm doing my makeup, if you think about it as women, that's our first quiet time in our morning. That's the time where we should be doing our affirmations and, getting our mind right before the day starts. But it's become such a rat race and everything is go, 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 go. We kind of, take away from the fact that we're putting ourselves last again.
We're rushing through it.
Absolutely.
We're rushing through our honoring ourselves. It's not something that we prioritize majority of the time, right? Because you wake up and how little time do we, like you said, how little time do we actually have to, look yourself in the mirror and, lovingly brush your face with a beautiful ecological brush with a, crystal quartz handle, things like that. We wanted to honor you like the queens and the kings that you are, remind you of your own sovereignty, of the importance that you have in your own life, and how important it is to pay attention to little things like every morning, what is your body telling you? What feelings have you woken up with? What does your heart tell you? What emotional state are you in? If you are not in the emotional state that you feel most energized in, what can you do to change that state? This is exactly what this is all about, right?
Yeah.
I think when I see you guys and how this has all come about, and with my little touches to it with the men's shirts and soon more little things out there, look, I relate because obviously everyone has their own idea of what self-love is, through whatever challenges they've gone through. From what you're describing, this is sort of anchoring every experience we've ever had, and how can we bring people back into the present moment?
Yes.
I'm putting my shirt on, and we put a meditation to go along with the shirt, so somebody can put it on and they can hear a meditation to set themselves up for the day. But I can also be guilty for the fact I put it on and I would forget why I'm putting it on, even though it's our brand. And it's a constant reminder to bring ourselves to the present moment, to not be in our head, thinking about what was happened before or what might happen in the future. And, as we grow and really develop these products, the philosophy will deepen with the whole self-love brand, so that we can really bring people back to the present moment. And that's, for me, and I think for men out there, it's to really pull ourselves away from our head and put ourselves into our heart. And, I know how important that is. And it doesn't matter if you've been a coach for years or this stuff for many years. We all need that reminder. And some people have it, harder than others. They struggle a lot more. That's natural. But that's what we're about. That's what I can say, that part I want to put into this is, how do we help people to set themselves up to feel that they matter, that, they're important in their lives, and that they can actually have an impact on somebody's life in that day. And if they put themselves in the right mindset and they connect to their heart with the meditations or the shirts to anchor it in, that each day they do this, each day they have this ritual, they will start to see a shift in their lives. And in a year's time, we'd love to hear the journey with people with our brand, and how the philosophy works with them, and in fact, how they can share their philosophy or their ideas, because we're growing with people. We're definitely a people brand, because we are just like you. We've gone through our struggles. Coming into this, when we first came to Dubai, we were, really needing self-love at the shock of coming to Dubai with, different issues and challenges that we went through, with people that you think they're one thing and they're not. And when you're dealt with that much uncertainty, where else do you go when everything on the outside feels uncertain? New country, new people, new laws, new businesses, everything new. And, you really taught me, both of you did, to, go within the self. What does it look like to put boundaries, to love thyself? And, because it's hard to discern between what's being selfish and what is loving self, because we haven't been taught boundaries growing up. So again, this is, for a lot of people out there, how to discern. How did you manage to discern? How did you know that it was what was before self-love and what was after, what was not a loving act and what is now a loving act? How did you discern that?
Well, I think when you're honest with yourself, what is the real feeling behind everything that you do, then you can be more aware, right? So when fear is actually at the base of what you do, that is not a loving act. And that's why, selfishness, say, for example, is not coming out of love. Selfishness is most likely coming out of fear, which means that I don't have enough. Therefore, I need to take something else. I need to fill in that gap.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people say, well, that person is selfish, is because, by them taking for themselves, they're taking from somebody else. Whereas self-love is based on the feeling of abundance. It's knowing that you are tapping into the infinite resource of the beauty and love that you already possess. There's nothing on the outside that is there to actually fill in that gap and fill in that void. It's all coming from within. So it's changing the dynamic of looking for the outside to confirm to you that you are loved, but actually nurturing that feeling from the inside that is irrespective of what's going on the outside. It's almost like, projecting outwardly that deservedness, that knowing that, I'm always connected to the source, I'm always loved, I'm always protected. And when I choose myself first, but I mean like in a loving way, choose myself first. It's not a selfish act, it's an act of love. And when I choose myself first, then I will be able to fill my cup. And once I've filled my cup, I'll be able to share with other people. So it creates almost like a symbiotic ecological relationship that is not colored by fear or by guilt or by anger or by, lack. It's colored by this pure feeling of innocence, that you just choosing to bring it forward in everything that you do. So it's a concept that is growing and is growing on us and is growing with us. It's actually a journey, and they say that the longest journey you will make is the one from your head to your heart, a few inches from your head to your heart, and that's what we're doing.
So true.
You cannot change anything from the past. You cannot change anything in the future. The only time that you are actually in control is now. And so this is why when you're using our products and you're using them with the intentions that they have been created with, then you are able to be in the present moment, and from that present moment create the reality that you truly deserve. So that's the idea. That's the idea behind it.
And I think, Julia, what you said is so spot on, though, the word nurturing. That's exactly what our products are all about. That's how we came about it. That's every single product that we design is to nurture that journey, however, whatever your definition of self-love is as well, because your definition may be different to mine depending on where I am in my life with my journey. Like last year, completely different to where I am now. So having a business that is called self-love doesn't mean that we've mastered this act of self-love. We are still on our own journey, growing through a business that we love. So this is why it's so important to love what you do and to be passionate about what you do, because it shows in the products. And yeah, I just think what we've done so far is absolutely amazing. It's incredible.
It is.
And also self-love, sorry for interrupting, but self-love is actually meditation. Self-love is an act. We're not saying self-love as a complete concept. Self-love is an act. So it's love in action. It's self-loving. So it's a meditation. Everything in life that we do, if it's done consciously, can be a meditation. So when you're doing a loving act for yourself, it's a ritual, it's a meditation, and it's a commitment. That's the idea behind the products.
And even for, I think, people that don't even know where to start. Like some of us, we've started on our spiritual journey and we know, okay, we'll sit on a yoga mat or we'll journal. They can come onto our website and we can help them and we can guide them and say, well, where are you? What do you need help with? What are you struggling with? And then we can say, well, try one of our candles, go and sit and sit on a yoga mat, wherever you may be in the world. It's something that we can help people so much with.
Most importantly, to align to the fact that they're already perfect, whole, and complete. Yeah. This is what we want to bring out. You are already perfect, whole, and complete. There is nothing on the outside that you need to confirm to you that you're already perfect, whole, and complete. It's just, once you do whatever you do out of that knowing, you will always attract the confirmation from the outside world that you are that, not the other way around.
Well, there's more resources coming. I mean, as we said, we're growing the brand and we want to add more videos about how to use these products and to give you more support that it's just part of it. That's a philosophy that you always have access to, because we have our experience of being coaches and helping people and setting up brands and things like this. So, a company is a representation of us. It's an extension of us, and we're not hiding behind, something or not showing our faces. We're being held accountable. And for us, that's so important that you see our faces, you look into our eyes, and you can ask the questions, and you can really, we hold ourselves accountable to you, not to shareholders or ever, if we ever get to that point, when we get to that point, who knows, however that looks. Because I know a lot of companies like that, you're not sure of the intentions. I have this phrase, what's their intention with your attention? Where are they taking you? Are they taking you down a safe path? What is it all about? And for us, sustainable, high quality, anything else you want to put in there, that's, what makes these products stand out. We're working, with Mother Nature, we're working with the earth. How do we, do what we're doing without taking away from the earth, the resources, and how do we share and how do we make it recyclable? And it really is a synergy with, people and, of course, it's self-love beauty, but it's the beauty not just on the outside, but it's the beauty within, and which is far more important. When you feel that in the inside, it doesn't matter so much what you think you like on the outside. And that's what we're promoting, I think, more than anything. It's that self-love beauty within. Yeah,
exactly. And self-love is a movement. It's a holistic movement. It's a movement that encompasses in it so many different facets and so many different aspects. It's not just what you see; it's what you feel. How they say people will might not remember what you said, but they'll never forget the way you made them feel. So the energy behind it all, the intention behind it all. We are confident you will feel it because every little part of the production process that had to do with these products was out of love, out of complete care towards the world we live in, and in synergy and in symbiosis with everybody else. So we know that you will feel it when you will be holding one of these babies in your hands. So
Sure. And I think our first product that we ever designed and developed was a candle.
yes.
And that, if you think about our, what tools do we use the most? And I think the candle is something that everybody has a use for in their home, and when we designed that, we thought, okay, what intention, what is so important for us? And it was the peacock. So every product as well, we did the peacock, and then we did the yoga mat with the feathers and the peacock. So that's a very powerful bird that represents royalty, respect, honor, integrity. So we try and carry that across.
That sovereignty within you, like the kingdom and the queendom within. So, and more than that, it was also created as in together, that they will work together.
Yes.
So you will have the space where you can actually call your altar. This was the idea even behind the mat. The mat is my favorite product to use out of all of them, because when I do yoga and we do our asanas and I'm facing, this beautiful self-love mandala, I know that I'm doing an offering through the vessel of my body with the intention of, bringing only good and beautiful into this world. And this, the design that we even have, of the crystallized heart, the one that has gone through the perpetuation from going from a coal and the darkness and the dirt, and from the pressure,
Perturbation.
Oh,
Thank you. It has become a clear crystal that emanates this crystallized energy that has the power to transform. So we just encourage you to treat it the way that we treat it, in the sense of you are putting down that mat as an offering to your own life, and you treat it as that sacred space of creation.
And Julia, also just to touch base on that heart was the basis of where our logo was designed, where it started. And just you can explain a little bit on the geometric side and what that means, and why have we incorporated that into our logo?
Yeah, well, it's sacred geometry. Sacred geometry is extremely powerful, and we know that because we have worked with our Queen Bee affirmation cards with the hexagons, and everything. Everything has a sacred geometry embedded in it. So it's got that almost like an encoding power with all the beautiful lines and what have you in the perfect geometry, in perfect symmetry that allows it to almost act like a portal. Might be going a bit far with that one, but it almost acts like a portal of empowerment.
Yeah.
It empowers your creation when you create a symbol for an intention that you bring forward. That symbol almost has the power to encode, not almost, it does, it has the power to encode your reality. And that's the reason behind why we have chosen this particular one for self-love, the heart being the symbol of love itself. But it's not just the heart. It's got so much more meaning in it, behind it, or a universal meaning. Again, we're not talking about simple concepts here.
No.
That's not us.
No, not at all.
As easy as it looks on the outside, it's got so much depth and so much meaning.
Depth.
And we are actually learning from it ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like it constantly develops for us. It constantly opens up new pockets of consciousness for us that keep on expanding. And we just realize that when you work with synergy with your own intent, again, this is what we want to bring you towards. Work in synergy with your own intent. Understand that your intention is your tool, and you assigning a feeling towards that intention is what will materialize that. So it's almost like creating these tools of manifestation that is the purpose behind these products.
Yeah, let's expand on the manifestation.
Yeah,
because I think a lot of people want to manifest, but a lot of people may be manifesting things they don't want.
Oh, yeah.
So how do people go from manifesting what they don't want to manifesting what they feel they deserve?
Sure,
Well,
that's a good question.
yeah. Well, look, like what I would start with is actually like complete again self-love. What it's about, it's being completely honest with
Yeah.
yourself. What is the reason behind what it is that you want? Because a lot of people say, well, I want to manifest, I don't know, a lot of money, right? For example, yeah, that's the most common one.
Most common.
I want abundance in money. I want to have a house. I want to have this. What is this energetic tool assisting? Right. So this is where the honesty comes in. And what is the feeling behind it? Are you feeling enough? Are you not feeling? Are you feeling not enough? Is that tool there to prove something to yourself and others, or is that tool there to expand on who you truly are? This is a very, very fine line that requires brutal self-honesty of looking inside of you and you're saying, okay, hang on a minute. Am I feeling enough? Am I not feeling enough? So if you are manifesting money, again, you putting the intention towards manifesting money and abundance out of the feeling of not enough, then you're going to recreate feeling not enough even if you have money.
Yeah.
You see, so that's where that subtlety comes in. And we're going to do a lot of videos and we're going to expand on that as much as we can from our own experiences and from our own conversations, so that it becomes as clear as possible that the intention behind it has to be very honest. Very honest with yourself, in integrity with your spiritual asanas, that, spiritual yoga that you are doing. That you manifest consciously, because if you're doing out of a feeling of not enough, not good enough, you're going to manifest more feeling not good enough. So feeling is your real tool for manifestation.
So look, we've done a lot of videos before that you can check out, because we touched a lot of different subjects, and I think manifestation at some point, and we'll go further into it because I mean, ideally we're on this plane, experiencing life. What is it about? We want to feel good all the time, not some of the time. And if we're not feeling good, why? And I know a lot of people struggle to feel, we're kind of stuck in the vocabulary of how are you feeling? Fine, good, and very often people don't know how to actually explain or explore further than the 3 or 4 words that we learn: anger, frustration, feeling good, feeling okay, fine. And we can only expand our experiences as far as our vocabulary of what our understanding of feelings are. And when you start to look in that direction and start to expand the feelings, then you understand what's actually happening within. And then you can start to release energy from, say, certain feelings that you didn't know you were feeling to come up to the surface, trapped energy. And then you can allow space for something new.
Again, so you're absolutely right. So it's instead of conceptualizing your experiences, feeling through them.
Yeah.
So again, that journey we were talking about, from the head to the heart, that's why the symbol of self-love is heart, because you can only create from your heart. You cannot create from your mind. What the mind does, it just reruns the same experiences over and over again. That's how we get in a loop.
Yeah.
That's how we repeat the same sort of things over and over again. Whereas from the heart, when the heart expands and the heart grows, then your life grows. The bigger your heart expands, the more your life will grow.
100%. I can, from my own experience, from being from a place of living from my head and then starting to get into the arts, becoming an actor, and what does that mean? You have to engage your feelings and emotions, and then going from there into the world of self-development and then serving people. That meant I had to open my heart and be more vulnerable and open, authentic, and then meeting you and learning what does it mean to start really living daily. Not just when I'm on stage or in a few moments when I'm meeting people, but every moment, to live from the heart. And to get to the heart really means that you have to confront some dark aspects of yourself that you wouldn't want anyone to know, or, you don't want to share, or you just don't even remember because, certain instances that happen in your life. Once you confront that and you realize it's not you, and you go through that judgment or self-judgment or shame and any of the negative emotions that we define as negative, then we give ourselves permission to live creatively and that is living in the heart, to living in expansion, to living in love, to living to feel deserving, to feel worthy, to feel enough. But to get to that point, that's why, you know, this is the products in itself is to anchor, to remind us, you know, the journey, the only journey.
In the smallest, simplest ways. Actually, it's a lot easier than we think to stay committed to the moment here and now, to stay committed to your heart. It's a lot easier. And so it's through little bits, it's through little things that we do. And with the intention that we put behind it, that we commit to that.
Once you're there, because if you're not there, then it's tough. It's tough to go from there.
So this is the reason why we have created the candle in the first place. The reason behind the candle was not only that it's, you know, ethical and it smells amazing. and it's got beautiful crystals inside and a wooden wick that, you know, it's all ecological and beautiful. The purpose that it serves is actually a lot deeper than that. So with the candle, there is a couple of rituals that we've actually put out on the social media to help you kind of understand the what purpose it actually serves. But it's actually aligning to the element of the fire. The element of the fire, it is extremely transformative. It is extremely powerful. And you holding in your hand this beautiful little altar in that candle that allows you to actually speak to that beautiful element of fire. So with the affirmations that you write down and you kind of offer to the fire, you then create again that connection to the manifesting what it is that you truly desire. So this is created as an invitation. It's created an invitation for self-development, but it's also aligning to the source of all creation. This is why elements are so important. And baths. We also encourage people to and women people to actually have to have their baths and work with the element of the water, because especially now that we have entered into this year, the element of water is extremely strong. It works as a very powerful conductor for manifestation. So when not only do you give away all your worries and your troubles when you're having a beautiful bath and you surrender to the water, you also get the chance to ask that water to fulfill whatever it is, whatever intentions and dreams that you have, right? Mm-hmm. So this is just a couple of examples that we are talking about that actually aligning us to this, to the principles that we are all combined of. We're all fire, water, earth, and air. So why not recognize that sacred relationship, that sacred design that we have within us, that it's actually available to us in our tools. So that was that. So the beautiful candle with the beautiful crystals that we have inside them to empower it even further, the intention that you put behind it. So by the affirmations that we actually offer on the candles, as well as creating your own, the ones that answer to your heart and confirm your own strength and power and beauty. The statement of I am is the strongest statement you can actually say. So by actually acknowledging, saying I am bountiful, I am safe, I am protected, I am pure love, I am abundance, I am creativity. All of that is just aligning to the source, and using that in the morning with a morning ritual of just repeating those affirmations. And before you go to bed, create almost like this little brackets that empower your day and empower your night.
It's also worth exploring that if you're saying I am and I am safe, and you feel some resistance there, then exploring that, going, why am I feeling resistant? What is going on? So it's worth just checking in on yourself, and do you believe when you're saying it? And if not, why? Write it down, explore it. I mean, we're going to be doing this for a long time and doing the videos, and we'd love to hear, whatever we are talking about and you're experiencing, what is your experience? So then we can explore that into further detail by leaving comments or, just letting us know and reaching out. And we will go through each product separately out of this podcast so that you can see not just us talking about it, but be overlapping it and talking, and you can actually see the products opening up and how it's used. So, you fully, completely understand how to use it, and in the best way possible.
Absolutely.
And just because it's the month of love, what advice would we give to the single guys and the single girls that are being bombarded with all these Valentine's Day couples, romantic? What advice can we give them in terms of self-love and not feeling like they're left out of this? It's a tough time for a lot of them.
It can be even a tough time for people in relationships.
True. Yeah.
So single people can go like, I'm free, whatever else. Some people in a relationship going, oh my God, it's Valentine's, what is it,
Yeah.
So it's for anybody who, it's because it's individual, right?
Yeah.
Whatever situation they might be in. And so I think if cross-board to everybody, like what is it to be in Valentine? What is a loving act for self and in the relationship? This...
Most importantly, what I want to say is that relationships are just the mirrors of the relationship we have with ourselves. So we have within us the relationship between our female and the male aspect, and it's very much conditioned and colored by what we've been taught, right? And that journey from the head to the heart is the journey to align your male and female aspects inside. So you almost break down all the walls that we've built and conditions and judgments and expectations of what the other person is supposed to be, and that acceptance in the merging of the two through unconditional love. Unconditional love is what self-love stands for, and that is the most important. That is the most important relationship you can have, is unconditionally loving yourself, whether you are in a relationship or not. It doesn't actually matter if you're in a relationship.
When you're in a relationship.
The most important relationship you will ever have is with yourself. So why not spoil yourself? Why not make yourself the center of your attention, by buying these little gifts for yourself, making rituals, by honoring yourself. Like, take yourself out on a date. If you have a person next to you or not, it does not matter. Taking yourself out and just giving yourself what it is that you love the most, and doing that regularly, and in the affirmation and the confirmation that you deserve that.
Yeah, I think it's, not looking for validation from the other person.
That's big.
And also expectation, not to put the expectation on the other person to have to do something or perform, or because, there's this day that's come up, or some society.
Expectations is the big one there.
That's big, yeah.
So, Valentine's can create conflict when it didn't need to, at the same time, or showing something that needs to be shown. I think it's just accepting where you are. If you're in a relationship or you're not in a relationship, you're just coming out of one or going into one, just accept where you are. And are you being loving and kind to yourself? And if you are, then that will show up on the outside anyway. And if it's not, then clearly you're not being loving to yourself.
So exactly. So that is the invitation. Make yourself talk so loving that no negativity could ever penetrate you. Make it so self-supporting. Make it so approving, self-approving, self-accepting. That's why the word self is before that. Selfish is taking away the spirit out of it. But when you're going with self-approving, self-accepting, self-validating, self-deserving, then you are almost like recharging yourself. And that's what it's all about. It's recharging yourself, allowing yourself to receive that love that you truly deserve. So, we urge you to be very mindful about how you talk to yourself. How do you talk to yourself when you seemingly fail, or you make a mistake, when you, have done something that you might think is not right? How do you talk to yourself? Are you telling yourself off? Are you being judgmental? Are you being, putting yourself down, looking for all the things that are wrong with yourself? Or at that point in time, are you forgiving yourself for having not known better at the time?
I think when you start to have your own back, then you feel invincible, because the scariest thing is when you are locked in the head with yourself. And if you've got the inner critic that is not a very pleasant person, then whatever's going to happen on the outside, you're going to internalize it and beat yourself up far more than anybody else could. And once you manage to be aware of that and tame tame the beast within, and you are kinder to yourself. And I had a word for myself, which is tenderness, because before you don't realize how hard you are on yourself, and that's why you want to blame others, or you don't want to accept what's happened, because if you do, then you're left you're left with this critic inside that's gonna
And this is the critic that if you give it enough power, if you give this critic enough power, it creates an entity, an identity of its own that is out of your control. And this is how people come to mental disorders. This is how mental disorders originate. It's that defragmentation of your inner critic and yourself. So it becomes so strong that you can almost you can almost hear your own voice of judgment talking to yourself.
It's like you're sharing space with something that's not you.
That's not you.
Yeah.
It's just was created. Yes, it was created to serve its purpose. But when it starts to run your life, then you this is how people get depressed.
Well, sucks the joy out of your own life, your own experiences.
Yeah.
So, Alex, how do you, when you are in that state and that inner critic is just like screaming at you, how do you, what advice could we give to our viewers out there? How do you go from being in your head, identifying that, being aware of this is what you're feeling, and going back into your heart? Because that's tough.
Yeah,
how do you do that?
Because recently, even more, I've been able to discern between the both a lot more. And I think I've got a lot better and quicker of just switching like this. And when I'm in my head and I'm running a story and I'm feeling separated, if we're having an argument or something, and I'm going in a direction of in the head, and then it's funny how you can start to point out things that everything is always there. We're dealing with 100,000 bits of data passing through our 5 senses, and we are picking out what we need to direct our life in our subconscious. So in that moment, I can choose to focus on all that's wrong. And I notice that if I'm starting to focus on things that are wrong and I'm feeling separation, then I know I'm heading in the wrong direction. Even if I'm saying, oh, she was wrong there, or I'm blamed there, it's just, that's what happens, right? That's what the critic wants to do. I then just become aware of it in that moment and take a breath and just go, and then I take another breath and I realize, okay, it's taking me is that where I want to go? Clearly not. Put my hand on my heart at times and just take a breath into my heart and just smile and have a laugh about it in that moment, and just get back into, this is where I prefer this feeling. There's no one is wrong or right.
So you just bring yourself to the feeling. And what would that feeling be?
I just feeling content, happy, just feeling in the heart, just not here. Because I can feel the difference when I'm here and I'm, your forehead's like this and you're running for a conversation. You can feel it here, just even physiologically. But then when you breathe and you channel back and you put your focus here, literally just putting your focus here in your hand and the heart, the change is instant. And then it's just coming from that place, and suddenly it's that dark cloud just evaporates.
So it's a choice.
It's
actually a choice.
Left
what
road,
you
right
commit to.
Left road, right road.
So it's
Left
just
road,
being
right
aware and waking yourself up and going, hang on a second, I'm going in the wrong direction. This is why boundaries are so important. Boundaries, they don't necessarily have a negative connotation, because what boundaries are is just a choice of what you are willing to tolerate, what you're not willing to tolerate. And having boundaries with yourself is that self-discipline that allows you to not compromise on what it is that you don't want to experience. So when it is a negative feeling, it is a negative thought, it is always up to you what you let into your temple. It's always up to you.
It's a choice how we want to experience life. If we want to live it like here and run a story, we can hypnotize ourselves with our story and make that reality come true. And I think that's a reminder to people watching, going, look, you're choosing that reality as much as it may pain you or not. And the great thing is you can change that as well. And it is instant. It can be instant. Whatever your situation you find yourself in, you can choose to be a victim in it, or you can choose to be a victor and come from your heart, and you'll find ways to transform your reality. because you suddenly become so wise, and you'll have access to so many more resources you didn't know you had possible, that was available to you, until you go into your heart. When you're up here, you are right. Whatever's going on there, whatever argument you're having, you're absolutely right. I mean, don't take it away from you, but do you want to be right, or do you want to have love in your life? And that's the thing. Once you stop trying to make yourself feel right, and you make the trip from here to the heart, then that's a game changer. There's no wrong or right. It just is. And then you feel this sort of weight lifted. And then you can go about your life and, interact with people and create something new. Your board is wiped clean. There's no past, there is no future when you're living from the heart. And that's that's why self-love is so important to us, because I've had my own challenges. You could call it mental health challenges. I didn't commit myself, well, kind of, when I went to Hoffman. But it was so important, because when you're going through tough relationships or tough business choices, or you feel like, you made a mistake, or whatever it might be, when you have your inner critic with you sharing that space, I mean, you may as well be in prison, because it's not an enjoyable experience. And that's why this is so important. This is why we are on our quest.
And this is how, when that inner critic, instead of being judged for being the inner critic, so that's where the conflict comes in, right? Because there is a critic, but yet you've got the opposition, that
The
is
emotional child.
the emotional child that wants to be free, that is in opposition with that inner critic. So what the healing part here is to merge the two in the acceptance that each and both of them have a role that they were playing, that they were there to actually help you in a way, but also that there is no need for them to be in conflict. They don't need to fight. So by rising above it and realizing that inner critic can turn into a loving parent. So if you're seeing it from not from the perspective of, what my parents are here and now and what they have done and all of the things that they come with, but there is that infinite love of the infinite divine mother, divine father, that is so loving and so accepting and so nurturing. And if you just tune into the cosmic larger heart, this is what the self-love represents, is that cosmic larger heart that is unconditionally supportive. So then you replace conflict with unconditional love that is in every way of your being. So,
and you know what, I've picked up two very important words today throughout our conversation. One is unconditional, and the one is acceptance. And doesn't that just embody self-love? Because self-love is also, it's not an easy journey to go on. Like you say, we've got boundaries, and you think that self-love is all rainbows and butterflies, and it's not. It really requires a lot of deep inner work. I found that, that was my journey last year. And what was interesting, the only thing that I really had left after you get stripped completely naked of everything, standing there bare, is love. That's what you have left. Love for yourself, love for your partner, love for who you are, accepting of who you are and your journey, and not being so hard on yourself and going, did I make a mistake? And why is this happening again? We have to be very accepting of who we are and be okay with that.
and be honest
okay,
with
and not
yourself.
worry about the judgments that we get. That was another big one for me. There's a lot of, I think I've carried that with me most of my life, is what will other people think, say, if I make this decision or that decision. Even at the age of 39, it's still something that I struggle with. But again, being in the state of self-love and connecting to yourself, and through the breath or through meditation or yoga or whatever it is, and bringing back to love.
Well, when you don't have that, I mean, once you abandon yourself, then that's it, and this is why, I mean, I know that feeling, and that's the last feeling I'd ever want for anybody to ever feel. Whatever you feel like you've ever done in your life, it's not too late. Once you come into your heart, we're doing our best to anchor you there, and give you the support, via podcasts and videos. And, again, we'd love to hear from you, your own struggles, that we're not going anywhere, that we are going to keep on creating, products that, to hold ourselves accountable to, because we all need that reminder, but to do it in such a beautiful way that we can go out there and show the world that, hey, we're wearing self-love, and we're wearing it proudly because we do love ourselves. and no one can take that away.
Yeah.
And I think, Alex, you're such a great ambassador for self-love man. Originally we kind of, Julia, we kind of forgot about the guys. And then you were like, hang on a second, hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Don't forget me. No, well, it's an enjoyable road, and it's great to share this. I mean, look, I can't really do much about these products and explain it once we finish this podcast. But the yoga mats, I mean, from the other ones I've worked on, these are fantastic. It's actually soft and kind of rubbery and bouncy, and I can't believe it's sustainable. That's what blows my mind. But I'm sure we'll blow your mind with the products after this podcast. So shall we tie this one up?
Yeah,
I think so.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I think we've pretty much covered everything from the ethos, philosophy, from what we actually represent, how we came to this, what stands behind our intention to create this product. Also, the relationship between us and how to navigate the relationship you have with yourself to the best ability that you are fulfilled. So that's I feel we are so open to hearing any comments, any questions. Yeah. We're so open to getting conversation going, getting conversation started, because this is what it's all about. And the space will keep on growing. We'll keep on coming up with more and more things to talk about. But this was just a little introduction into the self-love journey that we have begun a couple of years ago. And now we can proudly say, well, you know what? We are here already being able to offer you tools and invite you to love yourself each and every day through everything you do.
Yeah, based on our own experiences, not something read from a book.
Yes.
We've had to, really go into the depths of, the pain and suffering. Well, most people could lose themselves. But not only we not lost ourselves, we come out of it like a phoenix rising from the ashes. So really proud of what we've come through and what we've created and what we're going to keep on creating together.
And how it's grown us individually and also together. Where we were in ourselves and our life circumstances when we started and where we are now. This is why we're such big believers that this movement has chosen us. It's not that we've chosen it, it's actually chosen us. And we just need to get our egos out of the way just enough to be able to hold the space to manifest this in the way that it's actually intended to.
Yeah. So let's collect, as many people on this journey, because if it's coming and it's coming to us, then it's coming to you if you're watching this right now. So thank you for watching, listening, and being a part of this beautiful podcast, Self-Love, with Julia, Leanne, and myself.
Thank you,
Alex.
Alex.
Thank you, guys. Stay tuned.